My name is Andy Grant. I'm a former Royal Marines Commando, now motivational speaker, and happen to be the fastest one-legged man in the world over 10,000 metres. Being in the Royal Marines was one of the proudest things I've ever done. I was doing a job that I loved. I was getting pushed both physically and mentally. I felt like I had a real purpose, had a real sense of satisfaction in everything that I'd done. Each day was different. It was the best job in the world. I absolutely loved being a Royal Marines Commando. So it was the 3rd of February 2009. I'd been in Afghanistan about 5 months and I had 6 weeks left before I was due home. It was a routine foot patrol, one that we'd done hundreds of times before. My best mate Ian was leading the way and I was the second man. As we were walking along and there was an irrigation ditch to our right hand side, Ian turned to me and he said that we need to jump over this ditch at some point. I said, mate, I'm right behind you. Whenever you're good to go, you just let me know. Ian took a running jump and then just as I was about to jump after him, I heard two of the loudest bangs I've ever heard and everything went pitch black. 2 bombs went off in between us, blowing him forward and blowing me back. And in that one split second, my whole life changed forever. I suffered 27 separate injuries. I remember the whole incident like it was yesterday. My next memory is when I woke up 2 weeks later back here in the UK. And then that's when the realisation hit of just actually what had happened. I was then told a few days later that one of my injuries meant that I had lost the ability to have children. And that for me was the worst bit about the whole thing. I could take the scars and the chunks missing here and there, but getting told at 20 years of age that you could no longer be a dad was absolutely heartbreaking. I then had the kind of weeks that followed of realising that my career in the Royal Marines was now over. I probably wouldn't be able to run. So those first kind of few weeks and few months of coming to the realisation of what my life was going to be like was extremely tough. The time I struggled most with my mental health was when I was finally medically discharged from the Royal Marines. And it wasn't the fact that I'd been blown up in Afghanistan, it wasn't the fact I had one leg. That's not where my struggles really started. It was the fact that I'd lost my purpose. One minute I was this big, rough, tough Royal Marines commando in Afghanistan with the rest of my life ahead of me, surrounded by really highly motivated individuals. The next minute I was medically discharged, left alone, and it didn't really matter if I got up at 6 in the morning or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, nothing actually changed. It was only about 18 months after my initial injury that I knew I needed to make a change, and the change I made was to have my leg amputated. That then kind of opened the doors then to me taking back control of my life, and then I could start to walk again with a prosthetic leg. I was then given a running blade. I mean, the second I got that running blade, I felt like being a kid in a sweet shop. It was just like, wow, this is an opportunity for me to get my life back. I think for me personally, the thing I'm most proud of is becoming the fastest single leg amputee in the world, over 10,000 metres, but it's not probably for what people think. I got a few messages afterwards off a few of my old friends in the Marines who were messaging me saying, wow, Andy, you're fit enough to be back in the Marines again. And I think to get that, that nod of approval from my old Marine mates, that for me was massive. I felt like a kind of injured soldier had been put to bed and I was back to being Andy. And if anyone wanted to feel sorry for me, let's go for a run first, and then if you still feel sorry for me afterwards, the biggest thing I would say to people is just open up and talk. If you're going through a challenging time or you're facing some problems, I guarantee other people are. If you are struggling with something, don't be afraid to talk to your friends, your family, or even a stranger sometimes, because again, I guarantee you other people are probably feeling the same way. I always remind myself that you do get one life. Life is like a big roller coaster. It's full of highs and it's full of lows. The highs don't last forever, but neither do the lows. The most important thing is to enjoy the ride.